If you're anything like me, you probably think the idea of improving your Spanish level by watching lots of TV series is absolutely awesome. But if you don't know what's actually good to watch, then it's not that easy to do. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys 5 more awesome Spanish series that you can enjoy and use to help you improve your Spanish level. So first up is a series called El Ministerio del Tiempo. This is a series about a secret department in the Spanish government that has the ability to travel through time and the task of preventing big changes in history. The first thing I really like about this series is actually the premise of the time travel itself. It's not just a magic machine that someone's built where they can go wherever they want, whenever they want. There are doors that have been discovered that lead to certain places, specific points in time, and that in and of itself creates lots of different and interesting elements within the story. From a learner's perspective, this is a really interesting show because they cover lots of important periods of time in Spanish history and lots of important people in Spanish history, so you have that opportunity to learn a little bit more about the history. All in all, it's a really cool idea. It's well executed, it's got an interesting story, and it has a great tone throughout with comedic touches along with more serious moments. Okay, the second show is Vis a Vis. The basis of this series is a woman gets set up by her ex-boss slash lover, and then she gets sent to prison somewhat wrongfully, and basically she has to learn to adapt in this whole new world and this whole new environment. Again, this series has a really interesting story with great acting and a good solid all-around cast. It's a very adrenaline heavy type of series and it makes for very easy binge watching, I'm told. I don't sit around and watch hours of Netflix at all. From a learner's perspective, it's great for picking up a lot of new slang. There's a good mixture of different people from different countries and different places, so you get a lot of exposure to different types of slang, although it can be quite difficult at times for those reasons. Third on our list for today is El Embarcadero. This series starts out with one of our main characters, Alejandra, finding out that her husband of 15 years has just died in a reported accident. But unfortunately, this isn't even necessarily the worst part, because what she finds out next is that her husband had actually been leading a whole double life with another woman in a town close by. The wife decides that she wants to know exactly how much she doesn't know about her now deceased husband's whole extra double life, and basically that sparks off the main premise of this series. I found this to be a really intriguing story, and the way that it unravels over the episodes always keeps you guessing. It's definitely a bit more of a slow burn, but that's not to say that there's no intrigue or action. There's plenty happening. It just takes a little bit of time for the whole story to really start to unpack. I don't know if I can make a specific note on the value of this series for learners other than it's good and you should watch it. The fourth show is actually my favourite Spanish show of all time, and that is of course Aquí no hay quien viva. I love this show so much I made a whole other video about it, so if you want to, you can go and check that out. Basically, it's a Spanish comedy that focuses on the lives of the residents of a block of flats in Madrid. It features an ensemble cast, each of which is supposed to represent its own little pocket of Spanish culture. Aside from just being a really fun and enjoyable program, it was also very, very popular while it was running and still continues to be very popular in Spain now, even though it's not running new episodes. So it's definitely a show that's worth knowing about in general. And from a learner's perspective, it's a fantastic resource. One, because there's an absolute bucket load of content. There's loads of episodes. The episodes are quite long, each one. But it's also a great way, again, to learn a little bit more about Spanish culture. You learn about some of the things, the problems that they have day to day, the references that they make, the different kind of jokes that they make, and it all helps you to better understand what the day-to-day normal life of an average Spanish person might be like, albeit a little bit comedically exaggerated. Chorizo! And the fifth and final series for today is El Desorden que Dejas. This series is actually based on a book of the same title, which is definitely worth a read if you like reading. This is a series set in a fictional town in the north of Spain where a school teacher, Raquel, starts a new job at a school, replacing an old teacher who has just died in quite suspicious circumstances. Pretty soon she finds herself receiving threats and strange messages, and she finds herself caught up in all kinds of trouble that she wasn't expecting, trying to find out exactly what did actually happen to the teacher that she's just replaced, and trying to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen to her. This is another series with a really intriguing format of storytelling. We jump back and forward in time, seeing all these different parallels from the two different women's lives. And it's the kind of series where you always feel like you know what's happening, but you know it's too obvious for that to be true. Another cool thing about this series from a learner's perspective is that we spend time with both the adults and the students of the town, and so you get to see the contrast between how the different generations talk, both amongst themselves and to each other. If you haven't seen the original video that I made, then definitely go and check that out. And of course, if you think that I've missed out any important or really good Spanish shows, then definitely let me know in the comments below. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Hasta luego.